One thing that I've learned about empathy is it can be faked. Like for example, well, I looked up like the definition of empathy, and the thing says the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. The ability to when it comes to healthcare worker, they can understand you. They can understand what you're going through because like it's pretty much like the same thing that we're seeing every day. So it's like bread and butter for us. So like this, we know it. We know what we might expect, but sharing the feelings is something that not all of us can do because not all of us care as much or at the same level when it comes to different issues and different person, but we do understand what you're going through, or at least I do understand what my patient goes through, but I do not like feel exactly what they're feeling, and I think it's something that can be justified because I'm not going through it. But yeah, just trying like to show you what empathy consists of. It's like those two elements, like being able to understand and also being able to feel. I can understand but not feel. But sometimes I do fake being like empathy, like the whole empathy stuff. Because for example, I'll have like a patient that is bedbound, but for some reason he or she has been staying in their bed like 4 hours because they're bedbound. They cannot do anything. So and what if there's like an accident that happened for some kind of reason? They had a bowel movement and they just stay they just stay in the bed because they cannot go to the toilet. And then when you go and check on them, so you see them that they are on poops. So like the good thing to do is to see it and you take care of it. But the thing is, you cannot really do that because if they're bedbound and for example like they're bedbound for surgery reason, or they're bedbound because they fail, they're waiting for surgery. So the thing is, you might hurt them because you're trying like to clean them, too much movement, and they might like scream for pain and stuff like that. But like the good thing is, you see it and then you take care of it. So I'll say in this case, for example, I might go in the room and see it and actually tell them exactly, hey, this is what happened, this is what happened to you, and I came here to take care of it. Because if I don't take care of it, you might end up with another problem that will prolong your stay at the hospital, which is not something that we want. We don't want you to stay for more than the time that you came in because, well, that's not beneficial for you, and I think it's beneficial for the hospital. But at the end of the day, I'm not sending the patient, like for how long they can stay for. But just trying like to illustrate like the whole scenario and what the whole thing entail. And they might say no. They might say no because it's way too much pain. They don't want to move right now. And also the good thing to do when it comes to this whole situation is actually try to understand them, because nobody will tell you no straight up. Well, at least not on my with what I've been to or what I've seen. Nobody told me no, and that's pretty much it. So it was pretty much like no because I'm in too much pain, and that's what happened. And when it comes to the whole situation, I think like the good way to handle it is to actually listen. And I know it's really hard to do because there is like multiple patients that get assigned to me, or there might be multiple patients that get assigned to you too. And listening might take away the time that you could have possibly be using to do something else or get it done really quickly or efficiently. But for this scenario, you'll have to listen. You'll have to S it up and actually listen, because that's the only way around it. Because you'll see after you listen, you need kind of have like a good understanding on what they're going through. Sometimes they might try to do some compromise. They might tell you, hey, you know what, you can move me, but don't move me as fast, or don't move me all the way, or I'm gonna help you. And you'll be surprised at how much they can help when it comes to you guys being both at the same page and they want the job to be done. So I'll say going in the room and faking empathy, is it really faking if I take time to understand? Well, I do understand, but I'm not feeling. But I think like those two things need to be in terms to actually talk about empathy. But yeah, I'll say those time faking empathy might be necessary because you cannot get the job done without it, or even help the patient without it. But I'm not encouraging faking empathy and not actually listening to people. The thing that I'm promoting right now is listening to people, and even if you don't feel exactly what they are feeling, get like a good grasp of what the whole situation is, and to follow through, or maybe like follow up with whatever it is you have to do. Listen and act. That's what I'm recommending. And when it comes to nurses, so I do see where faking empathy can help, because on a really busy unit, so you might have like nurses with like 7 patients or even like 8 patients, and I know 8 patients might not seem like a lot for one person, but at the end of the day, so it's like 8 lives to manage. Like those people have different complications that those nurses need to follow up on. Like patient before surgery, patient after surgery, our patient has a bowel movement, or patient didn't have a bowel movement, or patient did not urinate today. So what is the reason why patient is not urinate today? Those things are stuff that the nurses will need to take care of, like for the next 12 hours. And believe it or not, it might seem it's really easy. It's only 8 patients, so I can pretty much I get everybody done with before my 8 hours. But there's also documentations of everything that you've done with the patients. For example, if you gave a medication, so not medications, because I'm not really sure that they document giving medications, because I think it does naturally. It does naturally. As soon as they scan it to the EMR, so it just documented naturally, because you can see, like, you can track it from there. I think so. But when it comes to doing something for the patients, for example, like patient is not urinating, and then right now you need to find out why patient is not urinating. First thing first, they might want to do a bladder scan so that they see if there is like any urine retention that is happening before they follow up with anything else. So I think the bladder scan is like the first thing that they usually do. And after the bladder scan, so right now if they see any retention, the patient is still not urinating, so they might try to straight cut patients and actually try to get the urine out using a special machine. But it's kind of like a long thing that they put lube on, and then they actually to get the urine out. And usually they get everything out, and sometimes they do not get everything out for some other reasons. And then afterwards, patients is able to urinate, and sometimes they need to follow up with others, like a provider, to actually do something else. But it's not. I think like straight cut is like the thing that they do all the time for all the cases. But I'm just like reporting recalling what I've seen so far. So those, like, everything that she just did to make patient urinate or stuff that she needs to put in patient chart, because there's a patient interaction or patient encounters, and other providers need to be aware of them in the future or in the moment. And other providers that patient might want to see in the future will also need to be aware of them. Probably that they might consider the fact that patient was not urinating at some point. That's what they did to help patient urinating. Right? That might be some kind of factors that will play a really important role in patient care, I think, in the future. So documentation take most of their times, to be honest, and that's something that I've been seeing every time that I go to work. So it's not only, hey, I'm at the bedside with you and I'm trying to get you better. It's like I'm the bedside, I'm not the blah, 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 I'm at the bedside with you, right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing to help you, which is something that I went to school for. But at the end of the day, I have to document. And even if I would have really liked to stay with you and actually listen and understand, I cannot do that because I also have to document. Because if I do not document, if anything happened to you, I'm in trouble. And I think that's one of the things that is really killing our healthcare system right now. It's like the whole documentation thing. And don't get me wrong, documentation is really important, because at the end of the day, you want to know what happened to your family member when they went at the hospital and what they did to follow up with whatever they might came in for. But the problem arises when it comes to when there is not good staff regulation on the unit or at this specific hospital system, and then the patient is not getting the care that they need because the nurse is focusing very much more on documenting, because the nurse needs to cover her but more than actually the patient care, which is something that I've seen in some cases too. But I think there should be like a fine balance between documenting and actually patient care, because without knowing it, one can take over the other, and we don't want that. So I want to have like a fine balance between you have the patient that you need to take care of, and you also have to document as well. And it's not really a documentation problem per se, because it all comes back also to time management. So it's like how well this person that is taking care of this patient is managing the time. So are they really good with time management, or do they know how to allocate tasks, or do they know what's priority? Because one thing that I've also find out with, just one moment, working in healthcare, there's like different things to do. There's always going to be like 10,000 things to do, and the good way around it is to define your priorities. So what's going to be important for you to do for the next 5 minutes or for the next 10 minutes? So what can wait for you to follow up on for the next in 3 hours? So there's like different things, and the best way to do it is organize them by priorities. And I know it's really hard for some people to say, or even for me to say as I'm even talking about it right now. Because in the moment you don't really like see them as small priorities and stuff that can wait for you, because it's work and it's a task that you have to do, and the sooner you get it done, the better, because you can move on to the next one. But at the end of the day, I think we need to come back to this whole like priority concept. Like, this is the priority for now. This is gonna be the priority for the next 2 hours. This is gonna be the priority for the next 5 minutes. So I might as well like just start working on this, and then I'll lift this because this can wait, or yada yada yada. So yeah, oh my god, I started talking about empathy, and then I came back like to whole management and stuff. But that's my take on some subject when it comes to documentation and empathy. So I'm trying not to make this thing really long, because I think that's not even the purpose of my videos yet. So I'm not trying to make my videos really long, and just make them short and straight to the point, and talk about what I want to talk, and then that'll be pretty much it. So thank you for listening, if you're listening to this, or if you're watching to this, and I'll see you later for another video, which is gonna be right now. Bye. Peace.